Hey guys, East from FGC Academy here. Recently, Capcom released a Season 2 update for Street Fighter V. This includes a slew of changes for the characters, as well as mechanics updates for the entire system of the game. It can be a little bit difficult to sift through the notes that they released, so what we're doing here today is taking a look at some of the more influential changes that you should be on the lookout for Season 2. Let's take a look. Fang was definitely an underdog character in Season 1. If you follow the tournament circuit at all, then you saw how hard CN fought around the world trying to make Fang work at the highest levels. Whether or not he was successful, I think a lot of people would have differing opinions. He did get 9th at the Capcom Pro Tour Finals. But looking at Fang in Season 2, he did get a lot of buffs that were very useful, but a lot of top players with him don't feel that he got everything that he needed. And in some cases, they took away something that was very crucial to him. But let's jump right into it. So for his buffs, in the past, his Real Bender would stay out, the medium kick version and the heavy kick version, the kind of poison trap on the field that would stay there. That now has plus 20 active frames, so you can expect that move to stay out longer, so you can set up more offense or more pressure on the opponent when they get up, or you can do it mid-screen to force them to move back. In addition, in V-Trigger, he now has the option of not having to use charge during his special attacks. And I put an asterisk here because it warrants a little bit of explaining. If you try to do just back forward and into one of his, his back forward charge attack into punch, it won't work at mid-screen. But if you're doing it during a combo and you just tap back and forward, you'll get the special move out. So while they do require charge in neutral, they don't require charge during combos. And this is likely going to open up a few combo opportunities for Fang, so he gets a little bit higher damage output while he's in V-Trigger. But yeah, don't believe that you can just go into V-Trigger and start just moving the stick around and getting special attacks. That's not going to work. It has to be in a combo. In addition, in a strange change from a lot of Capcom's changes to other characters with similar moves, his V-reversal was made better. Characters like Nash and Rashid saw their V-reversal moves that are kind of like teleports or like move away from the opponent attacks weakened, and Fang is a kind of outlier in that his was strengthened. He has less recovery, so he can act faster out of the V-reversal. Of course, he doesn't go as far as those characters, so this may be a concession in that sense. Moving along, a lot of his normals in general are just better on hit and block. Just going down the list, the standing light punch is better by 1 frame on hit and block, so now it's plus 6 and plus 3 respectively, hit block. Standing light kick is better, plus 5, plus 3, so they both again receive plus 1 frame advantage on block and hit. Standing heavy kick here went from plus 6 on hit to plus 7. Crouching medium kick is also at plus 1 frame advantage on hit and block, so now he's plus 5 on hit and plus 3 on block. So yeah, just in general, his moves got better on hit and block, which is good, so he should be able to apply pressure and also maybe open up a few new combo opportunities in that case. Moving right along, his Nikan Kyaku, the kind of like teleport or like sliding move that he does, now has higher priority than Ryobenda. Just because of the way the inputs worked in Season 1, some people complain that, I really wanted to do I really wanted to do the sliding move and I got Ryobenda for some reason. So now Capcom has changed the priorities of those moves so that you're more likely to get the slide instead of Ryobenda. Now looking at some of Fang's nerfs, although his normals on hit and block were made to be better overall, they were slowed down like a lot of the rest of the cast. I'm just going to list off a few of them here. Basically every kick attack he had standing is slower. Crouching medium punch and crouching medium kick are all slower by at least 1 frame. In the case of standing heavy kick, it's slower by 2 frames. And here is where I feel a lot of the higher level Fang players feel that he got a nerf he shouldn't have. In changing all of Fang's normals, it is now really difficult for Fang to punish anything that is -6. So in some cases, characters who have like these -6 attacks or -6 target combos, but kind of push them away, Fang actually can't punish them, or he can't get a reasonable punish. Maybe he gets a light kick or a medium kick, but that's about it. In some cases, the medium kick doesn't even hit because of the angle. And I think this is where a lot of Fang players were really upset at the changes that he got as far as his normals being slowed down were. But anyway, taking a look, his standing medium punch also has a smaller hitbox on the second hit. So a move that does have some pretty good range in the past now has worse range in it. So it's going to be harder for him to kind of play that mid-range game with that normal. I think this is Capcom saying that they want you to focus on a different game plan than playing those up-close footsies with Fang. So yeah, he did get a lot of buffs that were really beneficial to him, but the fact that his normals were nerfed so that in such a way that it's really difficult for him to punish characters past a certain range really hurts Fang. And so while I'm hopeful in that a lot of technology or a lot of good things will come from him in the season, maybe the nerfs to his normals were a bit unwarranted. So Season 2 Laura is a problem. This is a character who had really, really strong pressure up close in Season 1. Her throw game, her command guard game was really powerful, her setup game was really strong, her chargeable fireball was really tricky. In Season 2, just based on the kind of system changes or the overarching changes that happened to most of the characters in the game, and the buffs that she got, she's a much better character. Just to top it off, or to start off, her Sunset Wheel, which is her command grab, is now 5-frame startup. Basically what that means is, if you watch my Zangief video, which you can catch on my channel as well, any situation in which she is +2 now is an instant mix-up into command grab or an attack. And so if you try to jab during in a situation where she's +2 and she does her Sunset Wheel throw, the jab will actually beat, well, excuse me, the command grab will actually beat your jab, and so you'll lose out that way. And in addition, she did get +10 damage on each version of the Sunset Wheel throw, so now in the past 150, 160, 170, light, medium, heavy respectively. Now she does 160, 170, and 180. And these moves also receive the 10 damage increase in V-Trigger as well. And continuing on to her Sunset Wheel, the EX version is much better overall. It lost 1 frame of startup, so it's faster. And while this doesn't seem like a big change, a lot of the setups that Laura had, the way that all these moves interact, the knockdowns work, her getting long story short, her getting +1 frame removed from her startup makes her mix-up game that much more scary on Wake Up. In addition, it recovers faster on hit, so you'll be able to set up in some situations better than you had in the past. And also it got +50 stun. So in the past it did 200 stun, and now it does 250. So about a quarter of your stun bar on one EX command grab, excuse me. Oh, it should be noted that in V-Trigger it received +60 stun. So in the past 220, and now 280 stun on an EX command grab during V-Trigger. And if you weren't aware, this move was actually projectile invincible during the later frames of the attack in Season 1. In Season 2, Capcom has widened the projectile invincibility so that from the beginning of the attack to just after the grab, she's completely projectile invincible. And so you should definitely be aware of that if you play a character who has fireballs. She will likely be able to go through them entirely and grab you with EX Sunset Wheel throw. Well, let's take a look at her Thunderclap. So the EX version of her chargeable fireball, the Thunderclap, now has increased juggle ability in air combos. So if you tried to get away from this attack, or you got hit with this attack while you were in the air, in the past you just kind of flip out, but now it's a complete juggle, so that you'll bounce on the fireball twice and Laura can still hit you. So in this situation, Laura's likely going to be getting more damage with using EX Thunderclap. And to kind of round it off, standing medium punch to standing medium kick, that target combo that she has, in the past it was +1 on hit. Now it's +2. And what that means is basically, like I said before, with Sunset Wheel throw being 5-frame startup, if you have a 3-frame jab, in any situation where Laura is at +2 frame advantage, it's a complete mix-up into the throw or a move. So if you do a jab and she does throw, you lose. And so this being set up in such a way that Sunset Wheel becomes stronger, I think is really going to help Laura in the long run. And let's look at some of the nerfs that she did get. One nerf that really happened across the cast, or kind of system-wide change that happened, was the fact that footsie-oriented moves, or moves that are more likely to be used during footsies, now have bigger hurt boxes on recovery. Considering that one of Laura's best footsie moves was her standing heavy kick, it now has a bigger hurt box on recovery to match the rest of the cast. Laura players shouldn't be too sad about this, considering the fact that this is a change that kind of went across the board. In addition, her crouching medium kick has less range, so in that sense she's also going to be nerfed in footsies because it's harder for her to hit someone, although it does still have pretty good range, so you shouldn't be too worried about this move. Her V skill has a bigger hurt box, and what I mean by this is she has kind of a few versions of different V skills. The dash is back, forward, and but she also has the overhead, overhead split attack. And this is the move that I'm talking about. So this has the bigger hurt box. There's a bigger hurt box around her legs, so she's more likely to get beat out if she does this move and you press a button. Although it's kind of hard to do. But in addition, this move also lost damage and stun. So it does 10 less damage than it did before, and it also does 20 less stun than it did before. So in the past it did 90 damage and 200 stun in V-trigger, excuse me. So it lost stun in V-trigger. So in the past it did 90 damage and 200 stun in V-trigger. Now it does 80 damage and 180 stun in V-trigger. But it did gain frame advantage on hit, so if she hits you now, she is +2, the magical number for her. And in V-trigger she's +3. And finally, to kind of round out Laura's nerfs, her Split River follow-up to her elbow charge did see a small nerf in damage, so it lost 20 damage, which is actually a pretty sizable nerf. In the past it did 90 damage, now it does 70 damage, and in V-trigger it did 110 damage, and now it does 90 damage. Although on hit, when she knocks you down, she's, instead of +17, she's +18. So you can expect her to have maybe a stronger setup or a stronger mix-up game off of the knockdown here from Split River as well. Looking at Laura going into Season 2, I mean, in Season 1, she already had really strong pressure, really intense mix-ups. I mean, they just got that much stronger. The fact that Sunset Wheel is 5-frame startup now as a command grab, the fact that her EX usage sees a lot more benefit, the fact that she has a lot more situations where she's +2 to use the 5-frame startup command grab, really makes her a strong character up close. And in addition, the fact that the system changes were made so that all characters who had invincible meterless reversals lost those. I mean, they have to now sit back and completely guess like the rest of the cast against Laura. And yes, I mean, her nerfs did include a lot of her footsie attacks, the crouching medium kick, the standing heavy kick. But the fact that anti-airs were weakened, and the fact that standing light punches were basically removed as an option for most of the cast, means that it's going to be harder to anti-air, and the damage she gets from a successful jump in, plus the mix-up she gets afterward, is going to be incredibly in her favor. So, yeah, looking into Season 2, if you don't know the Laura matchup, it's one that I really recommend that you study right now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about the changes so far in the comments below. Also, let us know what characters you'd like to see next. So we are trying to get these out as soon as possible, hopefully finishing up the entire cast in about 2 or 3 weeks. So let us know who you want to see next. Thanks, take care, keep on fighting.